What's up guys, Salvador Brigman here, hailing in from Bushwick Inlet Park in Brooklyn, New York. And before we get started with today's video, it's actually really hot today. I want you to take a second to look at this view and like take it in. It's beautiful. There's also a duck chilling there. With today's video, I think that a lot of younger people, I'm obviously really young myself, but we always struggle from figuring out like what is our core purpose. What are we meant to do in terms of our career, in terms of what we actually want to make a living at, and also just even our business. Like if you are a business owner, discovering the type of business that you want to own or what you want to bring to humanity. And that's a very, very deep topic here, but I think the background like warrants this kind of discussion. But I want to share a quote with you, and I'm probably paraphrasing this, but the thing that you've been doing all of your life is the thing that you will be doing all of your life and what you were actually meant to do. So think about even years ago, maybe in your childhood, even what you've been doing like when you're bored that doesn't seem like work. What have you always been doing in your life? Write that down if possible, the answer to that question. One of the things that I myself have always been doing is teaching, but not like in a formal setting like this, or even a formal setting like a classroom. I'm always sending my friends articles on like, oh my gosh, like look at this, like this is what's happening with Snapchat, because I want to teach them how to use Snapchat better, say. Or like, oh my gosh, like look at this new trend. I'm like trying to teach them about new technologies and new apps that are coming into existence. Or sharing my thoughts on just a really cool book that I read. The last book I read was Trust Me, I'm Lying by Ryan Holiday. And that book blew my mind, and I just wanted to talk about it. I want to share what I learned from that book. I wanted to communicate that, and like how this really corrupt media industry is selling us stories that aren't always true, and that's changing our perceptions and what that means for how we think about ourselves and our life and the actions we take. Like I naturally want to consume information and teach or communicate about it. All my life, I have written in some fashion, whether it's journaling, whether it's writing blog posts, could be even just writing short stories. I've always been communicating in some fashion or another. I was back home recently in Massachusetts. I'm from like a really small town in Massachusetts, and I was looking through all of my old writing, and I'm like, damn, like I wrote a lot. I have like pages and pages of writing, and I never ever considered myself like a writer. I never considered myself a speaker at all. But the thing that's been in common with everything I've done is I've always had the desire to teach people or to communicate information, smarter ways of doing things. Bringing my friends and like hounding them to get them to come to the gym with me, because I've experienced maybe a small amount of results, and like I want to share that. So what is it that you have always been doing in your life? It's usually going to be some kind of an activity, but it could also just be like people watching people and analyzing people, or it could be, creating artistic works and drawings, or it could be something even as simple as empathizing with people, listening to people, making people smile, making jokes. What have you always naturally gravitated towards? I think that's most people's gift, if you will. And then the next part of the equation is figuring out how to bring that gift to people in a more structured way and in a way that you can monetize it. There are many, many jobs out there, many new millennial type jobs, even like a social media marketer. That didn't exist years ago. But for people who like to share current trends, that is perfect. For people who like to talk with the community, to really foster relationships and build a community in relationships, a community manager is a very common job nowadays. So examine that question. What is it that you've always been doing in your life? And the second is, what emotion have you always been craving in your life? That's a deep question too. This is gonna be a really deep YouTube video. What is the emotion that you've always been craving in your life? And for me, the emotion of being able to see someone that I've taught do something in a better way and get a result, to me is extremely gratifying because it changes the trajectory of their life. Like a lot of my friends that I grew up with that are now, going to the gym a lot and enjoy that and look more fit, that changes the trajectory of their life. And that's the kind of emotion that I crave, but I also obviously do selfishly crave to be in the spotlight a bit, and I'm fine admitting that, not necessarily in like a narcissistic way, but I have always wanted to communicate my voice and my ideas with the world. So the first question, what is it that you've been doing that you've always been doing regardless of the age, the time? What have you always gravitated towards? And the second, what is the emotion that you've always been craving in your life and you've been trying to seek to scratch that itch? Two great questions, and leave a comment for me down below with your answers. Again, my name is Salvador. Look forward to doing another YouTube video, and I hope you enjoy the skyline. It's like the perfect time to do this. And man, at the end of the day, you just gotta take it in and really enjoy it. I'll see you next time.